camera, buddy.
No good.
903 Network Radio in the building, man. What's good, people? You know, I got a special guest today, Jason G of the Dogg Kennels. Dogg City, is that what we call it?
Dogg City. That's good for me.
What's up, my man? What's good?
What's up? Man, thanks for having me out, man.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for coming by the studio today. For y'all that don't know, I guess we can get into the serious stuff first.
Yeah.
I brought Jason on because I want him to explain to y'all about what he's doing on Thanksgiving for his giving back to the homeless and trying to make a difference in the community. Truly, man. I appreciate that, bro. It's good to see people like you and your wife and your son, you know, just step out there and make a difference. So,
and that's all.
Please tell the people about, you know, what you got going on, how they can get a hold of you, how they can help you in your movement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man. First of all, thanks for having me out and reaching out.
Yes, indeed.
You know, that's real love right there for sure.
Yes, indeed.
On this Thursday, November 23rd. That's gonna be this coming, not this Thursday, but a week from Thursday. That's 10 days from now, in real time.
Right.
That's gonna be on Thanksgiving Day at the Grayson Shelter at 331 West Morton Street in Denison, Texas.
Yes, indeed.
The first thing that we're doing there that day is we're gonna feed the shelter. The shelter has about 25 to 30 residents right now. Of course, that number will go up. It always goes up right around the holidays.
Yes, indeed.
And those are kids and women, and you've got people who've served your country staying there. The Grayson Shelter takes care of people in our community who are in transition and don't have a home right now, but are trying to keep either their family together or put their life back on track. So the shelter doesn't just give them a place to stay. They give them internet, they give them the ability to apply for a job, and they give them a network of support too, man. So once they get out, there's a family of 4, 3 kids and a mother who just got out not very long ago of the shelter, but they help build support for that first month or two, you know, when you're getting on your feet to help get furniture and groceries and things going too. That way you're not, you know, a big problem in the homeless community is that we keep coming back, that it's a problem we don't experience one time, it's a problem that they experience more than once.
Yes,
so we're gonna feed that whole shelter up to around 40 people. We're gonna make a nice Thanksgiving dinner. Now here's the big part, and this is why I was so glad you reached out to me,
yes,
man.
Indeed.
Because we're gonna feed the whole community. So that's anybody.
The whole community, people.
Yeah, what we're looking at here is when we started fooling with the shelter here a year or so ago, a lot of the homeless community isn't at the shelter.
Right.
We realized that a lot of our community that's in transition or needs help isn't in a shelter or isn't in a program to help them get on their feet. There are 4 or 5 good programs here in Sherman and Denison that help either put you through rehab or help you get financially a little more stable, but that's not enough spots for as many people as there are. Yes, so we've actually got communities. You and I were visiting how crazy that is, man.
Right.
There's places that actually have names here in our community, like Tent City and areas down by the viaduct where large groups of people live together, man. And they take care of one another, and they don't have a roof over their heads. So we're going to feed them all. We're going to take food to them if they can't get to us. But at 331 West Morton Street, man, anybody who wants to come.
I think that's beautiful.
If you got please, anybody listening to this, if you have a neighbor that's elderly, if you have somebody who just doesn't seem to have any family too, it's not just about being homeless. Right. It's about being lonely or not having anybody to spend time with either. Right. So that day we're going to spend time with anybody who wants to spend it, and we'll have really good meals going. We've got 4 turkeys already donated that'll be cooked and carved.
Okay.
We've got a ton of sides, from sweet potatoes to green bean casseroles, all kinds of stuff. Man, we got banana and blueberry pies coming, all kinds of crazy stuff. So it'll be a home cooked meal too. We're not just gonna go,
Yes, indeed.
Fast food line or nothing either. This will be a real meal. So
if y'all can please support, is there any kind of like anything people can bring?
Absolutely,
to a location or?
Man. Thanks for mentioning. I get lost talking about it. We're coordinating the event, so more than anything, the shelter gets overwhelmed. They don't have full-time employees like you would think a place would, so they run mainly off of volunteers.
Y'all go check out the documentary. I mean, not even a documentary. The promo. For
that short film. It's a good little film.
Man, he's telling you all the information on there, but run it to him again about the employees not getting paid much.
No, it's mainly a volunteer. Even the director is usually a volunteer director. So you're talking about the person who sets up the meals and coordinates drop-offs. A lot of the time is a volunteer from a local college or something like that. So. What we've asked people to do a bigger event like this is if you're given coats or sleeping bags, you can take them up to the shelter if it's close for you on Morton Street and just let them know that that's what you're donating them for. They'll make sure they get to the right people. And then if you're wanting to donate food or a dish for Thanksgiving, you can contact us. That's on email. It's socialkennel@gmail.com. You can also always call us. Our kennel line is 903-712-3775.
And bags of clothes or toys.
Anything like that.
Just bring it to you?
I would take. You can do either. If you want to bring them to us, if we're closer, you're welcome. We're in Van Alstyne. You can call us and we'll set up you dropping it off, and we're happy to deliver them on Thanksgiving. Okay. If you want to drop it off before, you're welcome to take it by there. Like if you're going to clean out your garage and this is something you're going to do, run them by there.
Please, people, support the movement. Stop hoarding clothes and shit you can't wear no more.
Yeah.
It's people that could use that. Your trash is another man's treasure is what I always heard.
If you've got old comforters that you're not using or blankets and bedding and coats.
We don't want bed bugs. Wash the shit first, though, okay?
Yeah. Put a dash of bleach in it. And coats, too, man. One of the things they do with coats, they do a giveaway every year where, of course, anybody can come and get a coat.
Right.
The hard part about the giveaway, just for the record, if you ever go to it, is there's a ton of kids at that giveaway. Right. There's a ton of kids that need jackets. So if you've got old children's jackets, that's something that's going to come in really, really handy. Right. And always there at the shelter, man, right inside the front door is a big coat rack, and that's a take one if you need one. Because like we said, there's a lot of people that sleep outdoors,
Yes, indeed. So. And this time of year, they consider it suicide season. So let's try to let's try to brighten somebody's day by a small gesture, coat, 20 canned goods of food.
I was gonna say, listen, in real talk, right here, you talk about the shelter, and they do really good things for the community. Right. One of the real common things that happens at the shelter, man, is a family will feel the need to donate something, and they'll run to the grocery store and they'll buy a rack of canned goods. Right. And very often, man, at your grocery store, you'll have canned corn on sale and green beans. Those are two of the most common things.
I've seen that in that promo
if you notice there at the shelter, they have two full cabinets of green beans and corns. Now, they would never tell you not to donate.
Do they got freezers?
Yes, they do, and they just added another freezer and refrigerator, too. So. The kitchen has a full-size refrigerator, and then there's two full-size refrigerators outside. They can keep goods cold, but if you're going to buy canned goods, man, instead of buying 4 cans of corn, which makes you feel good, it makes me feel good to bring in 4 cans. You're actually probably doing them better right now if you buy 1 can of, like, scalloped potatoes or some soup or something like that.
Ranch-style beans.
Yeah. You get, talking about the canned food, too, a lot of that canned food, again, will get passed out to the folks who don't pass the drug test, who can't stay in there overnight. And while your heart may not go out as much to the dude who can't pass the drug test right now or stuff like that, he's still a part of our community. So you can either mistreat him and leave him out there, and he's going to be panhandling on your corner, and he's going to be living in your backyard, and he's going to steal from you eventually because he has to keep himself warm or fed. And I'll be honest with you, if you challenge me with dying or possibly breaking into some place so I can feed my kid or something, I'm probably going to try breaking into some place. So it's not that uncommon of an idea. So we can stop that problem early, man, just by cleaning out our closets, having some actual thought behind some of the good deeds we do. I know a lot of these folks volunteer at their churches and give. We are not religiously affiliated in this. That does not mean we do not want your church group, man. Please, we love everybody.
Yes.
If you've got a church group that wants to donate or do anything, you're more than welcome.
Yes. Everybody's welcome to donate, bro.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing for me, and I think that's something you and I really connected on. This is something for everybody. I mean, it really is. We don't care. It doesn't matter. We're looking. It would make my heart happy to know that people that I don't connect with on a regular basis are touched by something that we can do as a community. Because that's what it's supposed to be about.
That's what it's supposed to be about. Yes, indeed.
And you got big ideas on the community too. I was glad to connect with you on
yes,
that.
Indeed,
I know I'll be sharing this for all of the people who know me from the Kennels. That's a small section of people. Right. But for all those folks, if we can start to broaden our horizons and you look at other things, man, too, you know, the network, you know, we've got a really big thing going on in our area. Right. We've got a lot of really intelligent, thoughtful people who care about what goes on. Yes, and we can all come together, man. And it makes me really happy to connect with you for real, man. Too, because bro. You're the real deal. Talking about that.
You coming through, man, and showing me love or whatever. And, we had a good conversation off camera. And,
we'll do more stuff together. Yes, there's no doubt, man. Yes, I'm really proud. And that's something that I don't get about our community, man. I don't mind saying that too, especially as a white guy. You know.
Yeah, hold on. See, now y'all don't get to point the finger at me. I got a white guy up here finna get y'all the real, so y'all can't say it's just pound on some black power shit.
As a white guy though.
Hold on, let me set you up.
Oh, sorry.
This is a business owner, man. He run a dog kennel. Him and his wife is involved in the community trying to make stuff better. So who else you gonna listen to? So I didn't mean to mess your wisdom up. I just wanted to set it up because I guess a lot of you probably thought that I didn't even know any white people.
It's like, no, that's funny too. Man. It doesn't mess me up at all, man. It makes me happy.
My bad, brother.
Not at all. That makes me feel good. I mean, those are really kind words, man. Right. But the truth of it is, it's probably easier for me to be successful in my community than a lot of other people are in my community. Right. And so what I mean by that is I'm white and I'm a man. Right. So being a white man in the South, and especially in North Texas, Southern Oklahoma area, I have an advantage, and that's just common knowledge. Right. And so we have to be willing to kind of accept that a little bit and work from there. But we can work as a team. Yes, I think that's what we were talking about. What kills me is that the idea that I've always come from, especially being from Texas. You know, you talk about things from your hometown. Right. Like we have a digital radio station, man, that plays radio. All the hits that you listen to on whatever you listen to on your format are played. Right. And you play locals. You play, you know, like we just talked about it a minute ago. You play Breadman. You play, you know, Boss Parker. I mean, you got songs playing from local that you won't get on the big station, so you can know what you have happening in your area. And it's branded with a fly logo in the 903. Right. And then I don't see it very often. Right. And it's not that I don't see it because you don't put it out. It's like I feel like I don't put it out enough. We got a damper on it. For that shit, though. Well, no, it needs to be shared by folks like me. Right. Please, to all the people listening to it about the Thanksgiving thing, understand that if you want to know where my support comes from, a lot of the support on the things we do, the food that gets made and the things we do are clients of mine that are all different races and religions. It doesn't matter to me at all. I could care less.
Come as you are, man.
Yeah, and the biggest amount that I've had shared here so far in my community, just being straight, have been either clients of my kennel or black folks.
Already.
So what I need is for the white people to see that it's not a white person doing something for black people. It's not a black person doing something for white people. It's all of us working together. So please tell everybody about this meal, whether they're black, white, Hispanic, whether they speak English, give them a flyer, show them the address, you know. And that's how we start to overcome that stuff, man.
Man, for real. Bro.
We got to be bigger than our local, and not that there's anything wrong, but any type of establishment. And I don't mean like revolting against the government. System, we're just talking about the establishment, the established way of doing things in the area in which we live. We have to be prepared to function outside of that. And part of that is doing things like this. Man, we are not affiliated with anything. No. This is a get-together where we are giving back, just community folks reaching out to each other.
You know, nobody controlling the shots, man.
Right.
You know, these people doing this out their own heart, their own pockets or whatever. This is their decision to make a difference, and I'm behind them 110%. So
that's where real love happens. I appreciate it because you know it's. I didn't have to pay you for this promo for you to put something out for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's you know what I'm saying.
My payment has helped getting the message out, bro. You know, for right now, I mean, like, eventually, all the people that come in when they see the boat take off, it's gonna be too late.
Right. That's exactly correct.
It's gonna be too late. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you coming through and treating my business like you would any other business. Professional. Yeah. You don't look down on my business. You hear it, bro. So I appreciate you.
Well, quite honestly, I think this is the best. I mean, you know, this is the best radio that we have in our area.
Right.
And we're stunting growth of something that's homegrown, a seed we planted in our own backyard. When you tune your station, to go ahead and find your station on your radio dial and find something local. And I know there's a few locals, even if it's a country station. When you find that local country station that says, here, Grayson County, see who owns that station.
Right.
See if that station is owned here in Grayson County. See if who's distributing that station is here out of Grayson County.
Right.
Because if not, then the profits don't come to Grayson County. You know,
people don't understand that either, though.
And there's a bigger picture to things like that. So this is planted, grown, made here for here, and those are the types of things, you know, that you have to. I have to embrace.
Right.
That's something that I have to embrace as, you know,
yes, indeed,
a consumer here. And everybody else should. It's crazy. At least give it a shot. You're crazy if you're not going to turn to something that you haven't tried before. Yeah.
Man, you said a whole bunch right there, brother.
Yeah, sorry, man. I rambled for
No, I mean, in a good way, you said a whole bunch. Man. But, man, we gonna take a break for a minute, man. We're going to come back in 2.2. Y'all listen to the tune. We'll hit y'all in a minute. Yeah. That's cool, bro. So I had this whole little game I wanted to play. Had these different segments I had rolled out in my head, but I didn't get up here quick enough to set it up. Because I wanted to play this segment called King Big Mike Tyson. And that was going to be you playing Mike Tyson, but I didn't even look up the code or nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To the old Nintendo.
Yeah.
But I would probably do that again now. And I got my control. See, like now.
Yeah, we'll do some funny shit like that, man.
This is what they see.
See, I can I can bring Ben. I can hold and it plugs into my projector. And I got like NFL quarterback 89, I think, or 91 with Aikman and Steve Young. It's hard to play them games. You forget how hard it was. You forget how hard it was to play Tecmo Bowl.
I know, right? It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, man.
It is. It's stupid. It is. Yeah, and I even think that we just live in a tunnel down here too, man. It don't help that we're in a little tunnel in Texas, way down here. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. it's everything up here. It's a market. It's like they purposely slow it down, I think. From the restaurants to everything. Nothing different.
Intuitive, like
Just gonna do another
everybody
thing.
talk about going to the city, but my whole thing is bring the city to the
Yeah.
city, bro. It's all these businesses that you shoot up
Yeah.
the highway, you can bring that here.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I agree with that 100%.
Bring the city to the city, man. What you want to get into next?
I don't care. I don't have nothing else. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about, or I'm good. I'm sure I'm boring.
Oh, no.
I can tell you a good dog story.
Yeah, let's get into that. I don't see that, is it?
No.
Nine on 3 Network Radio, we back in the building, man. I got my guest, Jason G, in the building, the owner and operator of Dogg City Kennels. Did I say that right?
Yeah, it's the Kennels on Farmington is my LLC name, but we go by Dogg City.
Kennels is on Farmington?
Yeah.
Is the legal name. Dogg City is the swag name.
Yeah.
And, I want to know a little bit more about, like, what got you into training dogs. Did you always have a love for that?
Man, see, I'm a little over 40, so I've been doing it. There's a 4-year gap. Other than that, it's my whole working life. I worked for Caldwell Zoo in Tyler, Texas.
You worked at a zoo, bro?
Yeah, I was a zookeeper for a little while.
Already?
Worked with all kinds of animals. Man, all you do is clean up a lot of shit, man.
So,
The zoo is just bigger animals.
just like any other
Yeah,
job, you
yeah,
gotta clean up
exactly,
shit
exactly.
sometimes, man.
But man, I learned that I was good with canines from working with the veterinarian
Right.
on staff there, and I worked with 2 other veterinarians. Realized that the veterinary medicine wasn't for me. I don't like the medical part, but I did like the job, and I liked the knowledge that I got working there. That was real important to me. So I just kind of cultivated that into getting myself certified as a behaviorist and a professional trainer. I did that a little over 10 years ago. And then, in my opinion, I'm the best behaviorist and trainer here in North Texas and have been for probably 5 or 6 years now, man. I get a lot of my business from the Allen, McKinney, Plano area. People drive up for behavioral stuff.
That's what's up.
Most of my work in this area is boarding. People go on vacation and stuff. But I'm the only dude left up in this area that sees, I don't discriminate.
Right.
So that means I'll take any kind of dog, man. I train pits, bulldogs,
so universal
everything.
with it.
Yeah, and they don't have to be neutered or spayed. I'll do anything. It's just every dog is a journey working with its owner.
Right.
You know, when you're passionate about a business you work in, it's about making sure you get it right. So
Yes, indeed.
we just do it on a small scale, and I'm blessed to have done it okay enough that it supports my family now.
Does it matter, like, how old a dog is?
No, it's easier with a puppy. If you're talking about how hard it is to fix things or work with things, you know,
What
the
about
younger.
like a 7-year-old dog?
What breed?
It's a pit.
Yeah, the problem with terriers, pits,
Right.
and it's not just pits, man. It's Jack Russells and stuff too. When they reach maturity, like 3 or 4 years old, not that you can't fix things, you got to negotiate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't
Like
just
a
tell them.
teenager. They set their ways by then.
Yeah, you've got to. Man, there's a really good old school dog trainer. Philosophy-wise, method-wise, he wasn't that great, but his name was Bill Kohler, and he used to, one of the things he said that's really smart is when a dog learns something itself, you know, it considers it to be taught.
Oh, okay.
If you're forcing it, they don't learn it. And once a pit gets to be about 3 or 4 years old, it's not that easy to convince them to learn stuff on their own.
Right.
It's easier to force them, and so you get a learning gap there. But it ain't that hard. What I do that no other trainers do, man, just being straight, is I have a network of dogs. I got 5 dogs that live on my property. I got a pit, a golden, a German Shepherd, a Schnauzer, and a little bitty
So
one.
you got the first, the most intelligent dog,
Yeah.
and the German Shepherd. Then you got the second one in the lab.
Yeah.
Is that the right?
The
lab?
retriever, yeah, she's a mix, yeah, but the
What's
the golden.
third smartest dog?
Then I got
like
the
a
pit.
beagle or something?
Man, I would never have a beagle. Don't get me on the mic saying that. Those beagles howl too much. Hound dogs, they're really smart too, though. Yeah, all of the smart dogs are all gonna be problems.
Right.
You know, when people talk about dogs, they have trouble training when they're pups and stuff.
Okay.
Those are gonna be really smart dogs.
Oh, really?
Hey, you wanna know what the best dog is, brain-wise? The easiest dog to train?
What?
A poodle.
Poodle?
A poodle. A big poodle, not a little poodle.
Right.
A big poodle.
One of them Afghans.
Yeah, one of them big ones.
Right. Yes, indeed. Man, that's all right though.
But no, man, yeah, I love the dog stuff. I got.
Is it any kind of like I know people got your information, but is it expensive to train?
Man,
dogs,
I don't
or-
charge for training. Like I said, I do my own thing. I'm a weirdo.
Man,
You just have to. Because of my facility out at Dog City, I hold about 30 dogs at a time. So, like I said, I have about 20 dogs there this weekend, and then I'll have about 5 to 10 dogs there during the week this week and I work with them. My wife's there with them right now. You know, I have a volume limit that I can take, but it's $30 a night. That's what I charge. So, like, if you drop your dog off on Monday and leave
so
them
if you
till
got
Tuesday.
pets, you love your dogs. $30 a night if you want a peace of mind until you come back and get them. This is the man.
Yeah, we do a 2-story house too. Now we're not just throwing them out in cages or kennels. We use a 2-story home. I live in a 2-story home on the same property, and then we've got a 25 indoor-outdoor kennel
Man, I need
slapped
to come
in
out there
between
and
them.
look at that, man.
We're gonna hang, man.
Put
Do a
that-
cookout.
Yes, indeed, bro. But yeah, man. Let me ask you a question about animals.
Yeah.
Do you think that people are getting to the point to where they care more about their pets than a human being, bro? Evidently not you. I'm not talking
It's a
about
weird.
you.
No. It's a weird.
But I know some people that will fucking say fuck a homeless person.
Yeah.
And then go buy a dog $1,000 sweater.
It's a weird mix because I shoot people real straight, so I spend a lot of my time. That's another reason why you can't pay me for training, because I reserve the right to be able to tell you no.
Right.
Because I spend a lot of my time explaining to owners he's a dog.
Right.
He needs to run and play and wrestle and be a dog.
Right.
You know, there's nothing wrong with putting a shirt on a dog once in a while, and you know, we call it coddling. If you're going to coddle them a little bit, that's okay. But man, when you become a habit, that's when you. By the way, that's when you have all your behavioral issues.
Right.
A dog still wants to be a dog,
Right.
and a dog likes a good leader.
Yes,
You don't have to be aggressive, and you don't have to be firm, but you have to be a good leader, diligent.
Right.
Good on your schedules,
Yes, indeed.
fair with taking care of them, and you'll get a well-behaved animal. It isn't hard to have a good dog, but to answer your question, yeah, some of these people spend more money on their dog than they do on
And
themselves.
I love animals too, man. I just think some people get so wrapped up in the animals that they forget about human beings sometimes, man.
Well, another thing too, just like any other market, just while we're talking about what we were talking about earlier, the markets take advantage of people. So the minute you start seeing television, the minute you start seeing television commercials, which right now every television commercial for a car or whatnot has a dog in it or a vacuum cleaner that gets dog hair or whatnot. When you start to see something capitalize on it in such a big way, man, you got to start taking a second look. Pay attention to what the market's doing to you. You know what I'm saying? Because that is when it takes advantage of you. If you're buying food that expires in 30 days and the protein count is so high that, this, that, and the other. That's awesome if it's fresh, but we're still talking about an animal who isn't eating bone meal and other things. I know I'm getting real technical, but what I'm saying is you can spend $200 real quick feeding a dog for a month. You can do the same thing healthy for $40, $50 if you'll pay attention to what you're buying.
What about dog food and just put the egg in it yourself?
The egg's not bad. Eggs are great for dogs. Protein's good for a dog. Yeah, that's a great supplement. We give it all the time, or I do. We got chickens out at our place, and so when I get heavy on eggs, we'll give them to the dogs for treats. No chocolate and stuff like that, of course, but yeah, man.
Already.
No, man, it's crazy. another thing, if you don't mind me saying, if you want to talk about how people are crazy with dogs, having 1, 2, or 3 good dogs is great. Right. Having 7, 8, or 9 dogs at a time can be complicated, not only for the dogs, but for the people. Right. You know, that's another thing I see. A lot of the people that I see will be fostering animals, and when you get to a certain volume of dogs,
you gotta, just like anything, you gotta have enough space to be taking in that many animals, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah,
I know people, friends of mine back in the day, they used to have like 8, 9 animals in an apartment. Yeah. A ferret, a snake, gerbil, 3 cats.
Yeah,
man,
it gets crazy.
Hold up, man.
all those animals start existing in their own world. Right. You could care less about that human.
Right. Already.
Yes, no, man. We worked hard to get at the top of the food chain, and you know, you just.
Yeah, man. I just want to see where your love came from for that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. No, that's cool, bro. I don't talk to too many people about it unless you come out with a dog problem.
Right. Already. So let's get into some fun stuff, man.
All right.
You're a big fan of hip hop, right?
Yeah.
You're a big fan of hip hop, so I want you to think about it for a second while I'm talking.
All right.
Give me your top 5 hip hop artists that you like. Your top 5, your own personal top 5.
See, that's tough.
Why?
And you tried to give me a heads up a little bit on that earlier. Just because I listen to, man, I'm so different on what I listen to.
I mean, a decision.
You know, I fall in a little niche on the type of music I listen to.
It don't have to be like
if you know me,
and just say 5.
No, that's fine. If you know me and you know Dogg City, I'm a sucker for Texas music. So Tuck is always going to be in my top 5.
Big Tuck. Okay.
I've always got to list him there, just because he was the first one that I felt represented kind of from my home area, if you know what I'm saying.
Straight up.
We'll say Bun and UGK. We can list them as one. Is that okay? Because even after Pimp C, I still listen to Bun.
Yeah, I fuck with Bun.
Okay. The only other Houston one I'll list, I guess, would be, well, that's a hard one. I'll say Zero. I like Slim Thug, but I'll say Zero. So that's 3.
What about Face?
Oh, that's hard. See? Yeah. Man, that goes back to the old days. I remember watching, see how old school I was, where I was, they had the TBS used to show night tracks at night. There's only music videos I could watch. Right. And that's the first time I ever saw a Ghetto Boys music video. Yes, I didn't know what was going on either when I saw that thing. Right. But, man.
You got 2 more.
That's tough. I told Webby. Yes. And I'm going to say Webby before I say Boosie from Louisiana.
Okay.
Just because I like Webby.
That's a good lineup, man.
Hold on, one more. I'm trying to think of something. You know, look, you'll make fun of me for saying this maybe, but I'll say
why?
Because I'll say lyrically, I'll say 88 out of Fort Worth right now, just because I listen to him, the main 88 Killer out of Fort Worth. Just because again, that's local and he kills it.
Right. 88 Killer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll go with those 5 for right now.
Already. That's what's up, man.
See, I told you I wasn't going to list any West Coast hardly. Or any East Coast.
Oh, man. You know, people love what that's what the beautiful thing about music is.
What it really is, I don't know what you feel, but like anytime I hear something, even if it's not from where I'm from, if it sounds like where I'm from, you know what I mean?
You know, you remember Twisted Black?
Yeah.
I was locked up with him. We worked out together.
No shit. Yeah.
And he was doing interviews on the phone, and I guess one of the COs heard him on his way to work and reported him and got him moved. So
man, really?
Yeah.
That sucks, man. I was gonna say, Wild Hair, DJ Wild Hair, that was out at our place. Huge Twisted Black fan.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, he
got 30 years, man.
That's crazy. I was gonna say, yeah, that's all I ever heard from him was free Twisted Black.
Too.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, brother. But yeah, man. Yeah, bro. We're gonna take another break, and we're gonna come back in 2.2. Y'all listen to some music while we get our thoughts together. 100. We're gonna reset a little bit, bro.
You good, man? I gotta head back here in a little bit anyway.
Yeah, I gotta get my son from school. He in technology club today.
Yeah. How old is he? Is he?
Did you get jacked?
Yeah, see more. Yeah. See, Noah, my kid, he's 10.
Your son name is Noah?
Uh-huh.
What do you think my son name is?
Really?
Yeah.
So, Noah, man, they were probably going to hold him back. And that's why, another reason why we pulled him back. He should have been in the 5th grade, and he's in the 4th. Yes. Yes. Yeah. We did the same thing. They would send home these things, and I'd sit down, and my kid really can't read. Like, he can do spelling words and stuff, but my kid can't read. He can recognize these big old long words and say them, but he can't read. And I brought that up to the teacher, too. And that's when she was like, well, or something. I was like, well, I know at homeschool I'm made on slow, but I can also teach him how to read, where no matter what they put in front of him, he can read. Like, you're teaching him how to read your book. That don't help. He'll light me up, man. I haven't played that in forever. And we gotta get together again, man. Get together and brainstorm, figure out what to do, how we can help. Yeah. I'm with you. I was talking to my wife, man. You know, I'm the same way. That's the same thing. I was like, you know, for a cheap deal, we could get a decent DJ and get a place to throw with like a New Year's Eve or Christmas type of party. But I was the same way. It's like I don't just want to throw. I don't want to just have a party where everybody just goes to parties either. It's got to get better. And to be honest with you,
Everybody told not saying this real shit going on. I'm not going to put all on
right. I'm not either. Now I will say, I still never feel real comfortable around these guys up here. I don't like going anywhere. I don't go anywhere, man. I really don't. I was gonna say that's the one thing I probably have been able to. If there's one thing I've been able to associate with people, no matter what their race or whatever it is. It's always been.
Ashley, you alright, babe? Hey, this is easy. You've done this before.
Before it was for fun.
Hey, this is for fun. Look at all these fun faces, fun people. Come on, baby, you alright? Good. Hey, I'll stay right here with you, okay? I'm right here with you.
Yeah.
Go.
I just think that a lot of people sleep to a lot of basic shit and they just take what the world is showing. They don't be like that because people like to read. Absolutely. Double chicks.
Well, they'd rather you think they're rich on your phone, right, instead of actually having money in their pocket. No. And that drives me crazy.
Being rich is what you got. Right. Land.
Right.
That makes you wealthy.
But that's like when Brett and I, we used to have conversations. A few times he had talked to me about business, and I would tell him what I would think about business. And it was like, there's a difference, now that's different. There's me helping community, and then there's making money. I keep those two a little bit separate from myself. Because if you don't, then you end up making money off your community.
Do you want to speak on this shooting in Southern Springs?
No, I'm not afraid.
903 Network Radio back in the building, man. Still in the studio with Jason G, the owner-operator of Dogg City, Kennels, Farmington Road, LLC.
Yep.
He go by Dogg City though. Van Austin, Texas, man. He done threw a couple of events, concerts with Big Tuck and a couple other artists. He got more in store for y'all. But speaking of violence and gun control, man, what did you think when you heard about the shooting when the dude just walked up in the church and just killed people like fucking he was stepping on ants or something, bro? Like, what comes to your mind when you hear stuff like that? Because there's so much in the world.
Yeah, man. So crazy story about that was we were shooting, play a full circle thing. We were shooting the film. Charlie Hustle was shooting the Grayson Shelter footage. We was in the lobby, and he leaned over the computer and just made a comment. I saw that alert too and wasn't even sure if it was right. And then we pulled it up on our phones, and you see that there's a mass shooting. And of course, it's got to be in Texas. You know, I don't know, man. I give up on talking about that stuff. I don't know, you know, where the common sense is for people anymore. That's all that kills me anymore. I feel like, from my standpoint, I didn't serve in the military. I'm not a big hunter.
You got people that serve in the military?
I do, man. My dad was a Marine. My father passed away when I was young, but my father was a Marine, served in Vietnam. And it was more of a, he wanted me to have a respect for the military, but also didn't guide me towards it at all, man. But
my dad told me not to go.
my dad specifically told me, I'll tell you what, my dad said those same words, I swear to you, word for word. What it is at my house, I don't know if it's the same thing for you. I saw a recruiter at high school. Man, I was 17 years old, 16, turning 17. I thought, oh shit, I'm gonna be a badass. I came home and told my pops about it, right? And at that time, I knew my pops was a Marine. I didn't know much about Vietnam. And the recruiter came to the house and pulled up in the driveway, right? And my dad turned to me and said, who is that? And I said, that's a recruiter I saw at school. I told you something. And my dad looked straight at me and said, son, it's not for you. And he walked out the front door and he talked to that fella at his truck, and the dude got in his truck and drove off. But I'm assuming that was a Marine to a Marine type of thing, you know? But
he told me definitely not the Marines or the Army.
Right.
So.
And I believe it. My dad knew me fairly well, man. I was lucky. My parents were divorced, and I grew up with my pops. You know, usually you end up with your moms. I grew up with my pops. My younger brother was with my mom, so I figured, yeah, he spit some good information to me, and I think he did me right by telling me that with my personality. Now, having said that, I guess I would say that that's limited my exposure to firearms over the year. I will say that when I was a younger kid, a little foolish, I wasn't afraid of firearms from time to time, but I never shot at or did anything silly. But I just can't ever imagine the type of stuff that is now. What drives me crazy, not to veer off of that, because I know we were talking about that specific subject, but what I mentioned to you is, like, how does that make you feel? That's what I want to ask people is, like, that exact weapon, man, is, like, available everywhere. And it's not that the weapon scares me, it's that I know multiple people who have that weapon. And I know people that I wouldn't want to see have that weapon and be in control personally with my life on the line, whether they're doing something right or wrong. That's all the thing that scares me, man. I just don't want to get shot up.
I didn't mean to bring the
no, you don't,
tempo down.
You don't at all.
I just want to get your take on that.
Yeah, I don't want to get shot up, and I sure don't want to hear about people getting shot up at church or place of worship. You don't want to hear about people getting shot in civic buildings or places that are open to the public.
Because honestly, I don't think there's ever going to change no gun laws. It's hard to change the gun laws anyway. So.
And man, if they do change, they're going to change slow.
Right. I mean, pretty much, if you get in trouble, it's pretty much a wrap for you. I mean, you can't get a firearm legally unless you write the ATF 5 years
right.
after you get out probation or whatever. Who says that they going to let your shit go through?
Well, see, like, so let's talk real game here. So if we're talking real game on that, so say you're just a homie,
Right.
you know, regardless of race, you're just a homie. You're in your early 20s, living in your house, and you've got multiple roommates, and you know at least one of your roommates probably isn't 100% on the up and up. I would say that 10 to 15 years ago, real common for somebody in that house to have a firearm. real common for somebody to have a handgun. Now, what's scary is we've gone from having a handgun in the drawer to having an AR-15 cocked up on the corner of the wall, and talking about silly stuff like bump stocks. And, I mean, to me, that's where it gets crazy. Like, I wouldn't know how to. I mean, I can read the instructions on anything and put it together, but if it don't make it, when you start talking to me about civil activity, or that stuff don't make no sense.
I think it's ridiculous, especially if they consider hunting guns. Like, why do you need? You should have a bow and arrow or a one-shot musket.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever seen that video, like when they said when the gun laws were made, like what work violence would have been like, and it's like some old white homie walking with a musket through the building, and it takes him 35 seconds to load it, and if he was gonna shoot at somebody, he's not gonna hit him anyway.
One shot.
Yeah, and it's like, you got plenty of time to think. Today, there's no time to think, man. That's a sad, scary deal.
Yeah, because you hit the Vegas right before that, and it's like that's been forgot about already.
Yeah.
Just be responsible out there, people, man, and be alert. Like, that's another reason why we have to bring our communities together, man. I mean, who's gonna be communicating when something go down like this?
Yeah.
Bro? Like, we need to already have that action plan. Not wait on the police to do it or the government officials. We need to have our own plan for when shit happen like that, man.
And we're not talking about a terrorist. Like that's a white dude. Yeah.
Got into it with the in-laws about his child. That's all it was.
I mean, it's
the dude.
Yeah.
The dude even was accused of bashing babies.
Yeah. There's all kinds of craziness. I mean, you think the same thing. You just get what you said before was more important. As a community, I guess what I would say is things like that, I feel in my heart, are less likely to happen to a community who's tight and connected. Because when you feel that individual who's a part of your community fall off and not stop going to church and not act right and behave irresponsibly in other settings, as a community you can suck that person back in and be aware of the situation and work with them. So when we're all different, man, we're all in our own little corners of the world, blurred up on the internet for 12 hours a day. You can't disconnect from your cell phone for 5 minutes. It blurs people, man.
I don't sleep with my phone, so it might take me a second to get back, but I will check my phone.
It's crazy that in today's world, speaking from a business standpoint, the connection, the current connection, people have they send a message, they expect a response immediately. But somehow 5 years ago, man, we survived waiting until business hours the next day or when it was convenient to visit. But that impulse makes everybody short-tempered, and that social media makes everybody jealous, man. It does. I wish I was connected to no social media. I wish I could consciously disconnect from social media without people thinking there was something wrong with me.
You're being funny, or you just don't want to consume this shit.
Or thinking I've done something wrong, or maybe I just don't want to take part in it.
Yeah, it was hard for me to even get behind the camera, bro, because I'm not a me type person. I'm kind of trying to get over my fear of being on camera.
Right.
Or even just, but gotta do it. But yeah, man, thank y'all for listening. I'm gonna let Jason give y'all his information again. This is not the last time y'all gonna see this man. He'll be back. We gonna work on some things together. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Even during the breaks, we got ideas hatching.
Yes,
man, for real.
Brother, thank you for coming through.
No, I really appreciate you giving me another avenue to share the information about the Thanksgiving at the Grayson Shelter.
Get that number again so y'all can get all your bags of clothes that your kids can't wear. I know you probably want to sell it, but it's people that really need that, man. If you can part with it, please bag all that shit up. Make sure it's clean, no bed bugs and none of that shit. All the food, get a hold to this man or get a hold of me. You can bring it up here to the station. I'll relay it to him, whatever. Please support this movement on the 23rd. I will be there. My kid gonna be there serving food to the homeless because I'm gonna make them do it. So,
that's a growing experience. My kid's with me every time I'm up there too. It's not something I shelter him from because it's real life,
Yes,
And when we're there, by the way, not that I'm trying to preach either, but when we're there, part of the thing that I don't know, You don't want to go in a situation like that. And the way our area is here, there's a separation right now where kids see that in other kids, man. And we're making it obvious when we are different from one another. And that's old. That's the old way of doing things.
I had a kid at school tell my son he didn't want to play basketball with my son because he was half black.
Yeah. Yeah, my son, same thing last year.
I wanted to go up there so bad, but I didn't though.
My kid whose best friend is half.
Right.
Same thing, man. They're picking kids at a local baseball tournament, you know, simple stuff, kids being mean to one another. And that filters down, and it filtered down to them at age 9 that baffled my kid who didn't understand. Yeah, it's like what the hell's going on? And it's like, you know, if you we're very welcome to families up there. If you have children, it's something that's welcome up there. And it's not because we want to show you, look, this is what can happen to you if you don't take care of your life, or look, this is what happens when you do things wrong. It's actually just saying, hey man, my kid comes up here and plays on this playground too, because that's how it is when we're there. My kid walks around and visits with. You're talking about normal old kids, man, watching TV and playing. They still catch a bus every morning and get it to school and get back.
Please get your clothes together. Get your food together, man. Anything you can give to the cause, give it, man.
You can.
This is suicide season again.
It is.
A lot of people that don't have family, they ain't gonna have nothing, man, if they don't get help from people. So
yeah, the weather changes, and what happens is a lot of the local drives give to churches and shelters like the Grayson Shelter but a lot of those places aren't able to give, like we were saying, to the people who aren't in those situations. And that's what's a blessing about what we're doing and about what the shelter's allowing us to do, is that we're not just feeding those people, man. This is for anybody, everybody. It doesn't matter, man.
Yes, indeed. So give me your information again,
You can call us at the Kennel if you want to leave a message, and I'll get back with you on the phone. That's 903-712-3775. Or you can always email me. That's probably the best way to get a hold of you. I usually get back within 24 hours. And that's socialkennel@gmail.com.
And that date and the time, give them the date and the time.
November 23rd, 331 West Morton Street. And it's from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. is what we have slotted for the time. Okay. Probably around 3 o'clock that day, we're going to start getting to-go containers together. Right. And we're going to start delivering food out to, like we were talking about, to the...
They're going to nursing homes?
Yeah, we're going to hit the Denison, the motel, and all of those places like that. That was another thing, we didn't even touch on that. You wouldn't believe this area in specific, how many people are on mental and physical disability, and that disability doesn't cover their monthly bills. Right. So we got a big slew, when I say big slew, we just have a larger proportion than most counties in our area of people who receive disability, and that disability still is not enough to pay your rent and your groceries.
And that's why I don't see anybody that's able-bodied to work and nothing is wrong with you. You trying to finagle and get a disability check. You ain't doing nothing but limiting your money, man.
Right. You're hampering yourself. If you understand what really that disability, how it comes across, man, when you see people that are hampered on that disability, that are fighting to get off of that disability, it's not as easy.
If you need it, then you need it. But if you don't need it, I wouldn't suggest that you try to get that shit because you don't need it.
And it's going to clog you. I mean, it just does. Once you get it, you put yourself in an economic barrier. Yep. You set yourself right here in between a small status where you have to stay.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Man, I appreciate that you helped me point all that stuff out, man.
Already.
Please listen to my man tell the truth. For real.
Nah, man, a lot of people don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear what sounds good.
Right.
But I'm not here to say what sounds good. I'm here to speak.
We'll see where we are next year with this deal.
Yes, indeed, bro. We're going to keep pushing, man. And like I said, again, I thank you for supporting me, bro. I thank you for keeping it 100, coming through like you said you was going to do. It's a rarity that people do that around here.
Hey, I agree with that. Just real quick, if you don't mind me saying,
go ahead.
all of us networking and working on these things together, there's so much talent here. There's so many people that with good ideas and put out from whether it's art or education, it's all here.
Yes,
and the one thing we don't do as well as most places around us do is cooperate. You know.
Speak that. I can smoke a bag of that.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't cooperate. Like, you're not going to take my dog business away. I'm not going to take your radio business away. But why can't the two of us work together? The old days of being in one genre are gone.
Right.
But there's this new fear that somebody's going to come and take all your stuff.
Right.
And that you're not going to have anything. And there's too much of that here. So this is support for me, man.
See, that's how y'all can self-therapy yourself. Y'all get in the closet, bag all the clothes up, stop hoarding stuff, and get that shit away, man.
It'll make you feel good.
I know you want to sell it and make you $50 and all that shit. Man, get that shit away, man. That shit taking up space. Help this man out, the Grace and Shelter, his wife, any way you can, man. Use that to help you get rid of the shit he talking about right now. Don't you think that's the problem? People want to hang on to shit too much?
And we're not just talking about physical things.
Exactly.
You just hang on to old ideas and stuff too much. Man, when you give away whatever you give, if all you can give is an old coat or an old blanket, I'm telling you, you'll feel it. You will feel it because these people use it. This isn't something that goes stocked in a box and waited until somebody else might come along. These things get utilized immediately, turned right around and given to folks who use them, you know. So you'll know there's somebody using that blanket, staying warm tonight. That'll make you feel good, man.
Yes, indeed. Anything else you want to say to the people, brother?
No, I'm good. I love 903. I'm blessed to be from here, born and raised. And I support everything that comes from my home. And I hope everybody else starts to get that feeling, man. There's a lot of good stuff here, whether it's culturally different from you. Please, at least feel the vibe.
Yes, indeed.
Don't put obstacles and speed bumps in front of it just because it's not for you.
Right.
You know, we got to have, I don't know. I don't feel enough culture in my city. We need more culture.
Right?
You know what I'm saying, right?
Right. So let's get it, man.
All right, man.
903 Network Radio. Until next time, I thank Jason for coming through, man. I love y'all. Appreciate everybody's support. Go download the app. Artists, send me y'all music to 903network@gmail.com, and we gonna hit y'all on the other side. Love y'all. Peace.